Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday morning Daily Refinement Mastermind call. Um, we do this Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We basically go over a specific topic on how to improve our reselling business. And today's topic is resellers are waking up to a harsh reality. And I am getting like so many comments about my channel making people feel dumb. And I think that that's probably better than my channel making you feel like you know more than you know. I would rather you come out of my call thinking, wow, I wish I had known that. It would have saved me a lot of time. So I feel dumb every single time I turn this on because there's somebody doing more than me. And I even challenge people to say that there's somebody with less than you doing 10 times more than you. So there's somebody out there somewhere with less resources, with less everything, and they're getting it done. So I would rather you feel dumb and motivated to change than you feel like you watched the video and you're like, yep, I figured it out. I don't need to learn anything anymore. I think that when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. I love that saying. So what's the point of knowing everything and a pat on the back? This is the wrong channel for that. I'm not going to give you a participation award, not on this channel. You got to improve every day. It's not make progress once and then call it a day. Every day the rent is due here. Sorry, a daily refinement. Okay, Catherine, is there anything that you learned from the group that you're like, wow, I wish I had known that earlier. It would have saved me a lot of time?
Um, hmm. Yes, there's a lot. I just have to pick the best one.
It doesn't have to be the best one, anything.
Okay. The way that I organize my inventory for my jewelry, I
Okay.
have a number. I I have a reference to which little box it's in. It is so much faster to find my inventory than the way I organize my clothes, which are in bins. I
Yep.
haven't redone that inventory system, and
Hmm.
you have to dig through the clothes. I know they're in that bin, but to find them is time consuming. And
Hmm.
it's so easy to find the jewelry that I sell because I just pull the number. It's exactly right. Take seconds.
I love it. And it's now a chronological system.
Yes, it's chronological and number order.
Okay.
It's so easy.
Um, so I'm gonna pull up my video in just a second of me doing this so that I can kind of show what I mean by, let's see here. I think this is it. Okay, so um, the chronological system is where you order things sequentially. So for me, all of my items were one in this system and in this video were 1 through 8,000. So I'm just walking through and I only have to make one lap through my system to find the items. So they're all in order. So instead of digging through bins towards the bottom to find the item, they're already in order. So I don't have to dig through anything. There's nothing ever on the bottom of the bins. And I would say like 1 out of every 1,000 times, the item has gotten stuck on the top of the shelf and is behind the box. That's because there's not enough space in between my boxes because I'm really cramming in the shelves here. But if I redid the system with one less row, there'd be a lot more room in between and then they would never fall. Also, we talked about last time, I could put them in my bin in order. And then when I shipped, they would be in order. And that would save a lot of time. But here it's only taking me 12 seconds to find each item. So if you were sometimes taking 5 minutes to find your item and you can't find it, that would be like a terrible, terrible day to start your day with not finding something.
It's
So
so frustrating, and sometimes it takes longer than 5 minutes to find an item. You're just searching through every bin. You have no idea. And that's really frustrating. That's such a time suck.
yep. Um, thank you, Catherine. I also want to point out that this week on Friday from 9 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jen and Juanita are going to use the Shut Up and List room. So, what I recommend you use that room for, it's a separate call from this one. This one's 24 hours a day. The other one's 24 hours a day, but it's designed for work. I always joke that this is the anything but work call, and that call is the only work call. So, if you guys go to that one, Jen's goal is to redo her whole inventory and they're just going to crush it for 6 hours. So if you guys need motivation, hop onto that call, get some work done. I might hop in there. get some listings done as well, because Friday is the day that I want to do my listings. So the Shut Up and List room is a fantastic place to do it. For me, I still think it's more realistic for me to do 70 listings once a week than twice a week do 35. But the problem with once a week 70 is if you don't do it that day, then you're screwed. That's why you should do as close to every day as you can. Let's go to Jake if Jake can chat. Jake, I want to do a collab with you, and I want to pick your brain and figure out what a day in the life is and what's going on, how you balance your YouTube channel, which we should put in the chat so I can shout it out. But I want to go through your day in the life. Is there anything that you've thought, wow, I was wasting a lot of time before and now saves you a lot of time?
Wasting a lot of time and now saving a lot of time.
Yeah.
Honestly, when it came to sourcing,
Yeah.
I live in a smallish town. I think the population is about 60,000, and then there's a town north of me that's like 15,000, and then Vegas is like 2.5 hours away. And so it took me a while to get my sourcing route down, but now I just have that down packed to where I'm able to get my 40 items every single day through online shopping with
wow.
the thrift in my area and going to Vegas once a week.
Got it. So you've just honed down your sourcing, and now that takes a lot less time.
Yeah, I'm able to get 40 items before 9 a.m. usually. Well, awesome. before 10 a.m.
So what I wanted to do on your YouTube channel, and everyone that's listening right now that has a YouTube channel, what I would like to do, my favorite thing to do, is to talk to people about what their day in the life looks like. Do you want to share what your reselling day looks like?
Sure.
Okay.
So let me pull up my schedule here.
Okay.
So at 6 a.m., I wake up to my wife, who has already been up for 45 minutes, and we take our dog for 1.5 mile walk. Then I get back at 6:45 and I do what Jeff Bezos calls the putter. So I just kind of do nothing. I look up Utah Jazz trade rumor articles for 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Then at 6:55, I do my customer service and I send my 20% off offers to all my customers. At 7 o'clock, I list 20 items. At 8:30, I leave for the thrift store. That puts me usually about 5th or 6th in line at my crazy local thrift store. At 9 o'clock, my employee arrives to ship all of the items and prep the other items for the next day. At 10:30, I get home from the thrift store. I ask my wife if she needs anything. Then I take a 15-minute mental break. At 10:45, I create YouTube thumbnails and videos. At 12 o'clock, I do 20 more listings. And then at 2 o'clock, I do whatever the heck I want for the rest of the day.
Done by 2. 40
done
listings.
By 2 with YouTube. I used to be done at 11:30 every day.
Oh, I love it. So what kind of things do you do with whatever you want? Because I feel like some people don't have anything to look forward to. So what is it that you want to do at that time?
So I like to, I have a truck that I go explore dirt roads in.
Nice.
I like golfing. And then I like to, me and my wife like to do a lot of things outside. She's a D1 athlete, so she always wants to do something that'll help her keep her six-pack or whatever.
I love it. That's so motivating. Because I feel like a lot of people in our group, they take all day to get their listings done, and you are just getting it. You even have a 45-minute differential between when you and your wife wake up, and you know that. I think that's cool because you kind of have a little time to yourself. She has a little time to herself. You have a little time to yourself during the day. I think that's very important.
Yep.
So what's next? What I want to do is when we go into a little bit more depth with that, is there somewhere you want to get to with reselling? What's the objective?
So my goal was to just grow and grow and grow. I got to 600 items and I'm like, oh wow, I'm selling 9 a day. Let's see what I can do at 1,500. And then I got to 1,500. Let's see what I can do at 2,000. Right now I'm at 2,100, and the goal is to eventually get to 4,000 selling 50 a day.
Nice.
But I became monetized on YouTube in 11 days. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just keep my store at 2,000 and try to make 20 grand a month doing YouTube. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a question mark right now.
And you still want to do both?
Yeah, I wanna always at least have 2,000 items in my store.
I love it. And why that specific number? And is it all at home or do you go somewhere else?
Yeah, it's all just in my garage, and then I
Okay.
have an office that's made to be like a nursery, so it's only like it's like 200, no, it's less than that. It's probably like 180 square feet that I use for an office, and then my 2-car garage.
That is like when I think of all the thousands of different reselling models that I have heard over the last 6 years talking about it online, the 2,000 item store at your house in your 2-car garage, or even maybe a little bit more condensed and it fits in one car and you can park your car on the other side. That model of 30 a day with 2,000 items where you're really just listing stuff that's going to sell within 6 weeks, that stuff that's such a good store.
Yeah, and I definitely have enough room for 3,500. So I'm probably gonna just level off at 3,000, I think is my plan.
What does your one worker do?
So she gets here and she ships all of my items,
Mhm.
and then she preps all of the other items that I bought during the day.
Okay.
And now, actually starting just yesterday, because YouTube is taking more of my time, I have her list 15 clothing items.
Okay.
But that just started literally yesterday.
I love it. Okay. So guys, that's hopefully something inspiring for everyone to listen to, because Jake has all these plans. And I feel like having a 2,000 or 3,000 item store that takes you 2 to 4 hours a day, that's like living the dream, because you will be able to do YouTube with not needing it to be monetized.
Yeah.
And that is very different. People who don't have to monetize their YouTube channel grow way faster.
And I mean, I've got enough time. I don't see why I can't do a video almost every single day.
Yeah. So what's your listing goal per week and your videos per week goal?
So I launch 25 Monday through, I launch 25 every single morning. And then I just redraft 25. I go on vacations and stuff with my extended family a lot. So I'll just miss 4 days. And then when I come back, I'll just do 40 to 45 drafts every single day until I get back to 245 drafts.
I love it. Well, hopefully I can do my best to blow up your YouTube channel as well, because that's really cool being able to do both. And I think finally I've thought to myself, there's probably a point where I should be good and then grow somewhere else. Because one thing that I learned from Tech is he's been at 250 listings a day since we started this 2.5 years ago. He has not increased his goal ever. In fact, it's gone down. So it's interesting that growth could be other avenues of your life.
I was actually thinking about this yesterday. That's probably my number one tech tip, was the plateau.
Yeah.
Cause like I've just been like, okay, ready to grow. Since January 1st, I've launched 25 every day until now. And it's been the best work-life balance year of my young career, I guess.
I love it. So how long have you been reselling total?
20 months.
Okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Jake.
Yeah, for sure.
And make sure, or I'll somebody put Jake's channel in the comment section, and everybody subscribe. Christy and Tim, can you guys chat? One of you, both of you. Good morning. Hopefully you guys have.
Good morning.
What have you guys learned that has saved you time?
Listings. Proper listings.
Proper listings. Yeah.
Why does that save you time?
Because it's so much easier than just like we were listing stuff and just putting like, it was all messed up, the order of everything.
I see. So doing it in order, that saved you time?
In the end, it has, yes.
Yeah.
I see.
Because you learn the proper title, like the way it should be, and it just goes so much more quicker, because then like items come up in the proper way.
Yeah.
I've learned, I mean, as far as saving time, but the biggest thing is like last night I had a jersey And because of this group, I know now tags, when I see a tag anymore, I'm like, I got to take a picture of that tag because I just know now that's an old thing. Like this jersey, I would have only listed it for probably $20. And I found out last night during text call that I probably can get $150 to $265 on it.
Yep.
Because of everything I've learned with this group. The big thing we're working on now, and that gentleman that was just speaking, we got to work on time management. Tim and I we're too separate, and we need to maybe just go. I need to go by myself and he needs to go by himself instead of us doing it together.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Jake and his wife might both be type 1, like type A personalities where they both have their schedule set up. A D1 athlete, most
Yes,
likely.
sir.
Yeah. So that I have that too. My wife's whole day is planned and it's sometimes annoying, but that's like I want to go through one day without her reminding me of something, but it's impossible. It's like she has a particular way of everything.
That's me. I have a chalkboard. I like to write everything down for the day and he knows to look at it, but I need to get him to get up early.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so are you guys both running separate stores still?
Yes.
And do you guys have ambitions to ever run the same store?
We've talked about it, but with us buying storage units, it's hard to. We don't want to put clothing and hard goods together.
I see. I think because when I think of you guys, I think of two people rowing in different directions. And I wonder what would happen if you guys both rode in the same direction. That's just, like I actually don't think it would hurt your store to have both hard goods and clothing. And as long as you both have a listing goal inside of it. So like 5 hard goods, 10 clothing a day, that there's no reason why that would be confusing to a customer because because the way you source is random things.
Right.
So I think it would be better because then it's just logging in the 2 eBay accounts sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
We've actually noticed that.
Okay.
Would you, as you say that, would you combine the new store that's literally just a little over a year with the other store that has been there for more than 5 years?
Oh man, flip a coin. I don't know. What do you guys think? What account should they pick? Generally, the older account is more in eBay's favor. And I wouldn't pick the one that necessarily has the higher health, because Matt's putting in the chat, pick the healthiest one, because sometimes I can be seen as fee circumvention if like you guys pick the account with the better metrics. But I think since both of your accounts are in good shape, maybe pick the older one.
Okay. We're going to discuss that today.
Yeah, discuss it. Because I feel like that's because the whole point of this group is for everyone to row the same direction. Yes. That way we can all learn and do things quicker. And there's a certain point where it no longer makes sense. I want everyone to get in the group to get to a point where they're like, okay, this is good where it's at, and I'm just not going to mess with it.
Right. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, or what's something that you guys want to work on?
Definitely time management, because we're all over the place.
So what's one thing you can do to improve your time management?
We definitely need to make a schedule. We tend to sit around a lot and talk about things. Like I get up this morning, I did my YouTube video this morning, and then he gets up, but usually I'm up 3-4 hours before he sees the light of day.
Got it.
I'm doing housework, YouTube videos, things like that. Then he gets up and we end up sitting for an hour. And I told him, like this morning, I was like, let's go up, do the mail, do our listings, because we do have a storage unit coming off in about an hour that we're going to have to go pick up.
Okay.
We're just all we need to make a schedule. And so yesterday I asked somebody, we're listening to that Atomic Habits.
Yep.
I really want to do it.
Okay. Maybe this week we'll make a schedule for you guys.
That would be nice.
Because that would be exciting. Like wake up at this time, go do this, go do that. be accountable to different people for different reasons. Because you guys come to this call on time. So, I mean, you
I
just got to
know.
get everything else set up like that.
Right.
Yeah. So one thing I also want to mention about D1 or athletes in general, they work out like it's their job. I find that very, very cool, right? And so like you should source like your job, you should list like like treat it like a job. Why does it have to be your thing instead of like a job? I think for some reason job has this negative annotation, but like it should not feel like fun. I don't think, because it's different. But anyway, I just thinking it's when you have a job, you can at least say, I'm done for the day, right? My 20 listings are done. My job is done. I can now go do something else.
Right.
Like if people that don't have a schedule and don't have a listing goal, they're never done. So you just the whole day you're working on it and not finishing. So makes it tough.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Beth. Beth, good morning. What's something that saved you a lot of time?
Something that saved me a lot of time. Timing myself.
Oh, timing yourself. Okay.
Yeah. I just
So-
perceive time as amorphous. And the one thing I've learned is that time is that if I don't pay attention to how much time I'm spending, I'll just spend an infinite amount of time on something and I don't respect time.
That makes sense. Yeah, everyone in the group has been timing themselves recently, and I want to just share this again because I was like, when I was timing my photo process, right, and it took me 16 minutes to photograph, pack, and put away 10 items, so 90 seconds each. At this time, right, I had one worker working for me, and she did 105 listings per day. She would photograph 105 items, list 105 items, and I would put them all back. That was the schedule. So what I'm doing right now, she was much faster than me because that was her job. But the timing yourself opens up everything. Now you know how long everything takes. And I literally made notes on how long everything takes, because if you ever want to not do this yourself and you want somebody to do it for you, then you need to ideally tell them exactly how to do it so that they're not trying to figure it out. Because have you guys ever had a job where your boss makes you figure it out? That's like the worst thing ever. You just go to work, do what's required of you, and then go home. So timing yourself is huge. And I implore you guys, please post your video in the group and tag us, because that's literally worth thousands of dollars and it's free in this group. We will review your video. Go ahead, Beth.
The number of steps that you take, that is like the thing that will save the most time. You know, if you forget something across the room, you don't realize how long that takes. And if you video yourself, it looks like, my Lord, it's like you're doing an obstacle course or something.
That's exactly right. Yeah, even when I'm watching this video, right, I look at how many times I have to walk around something because it's in the way. Like the steps is the biggest one. So like I have all this junk in the middle of my storage unit, so I have to walk around it, right? And it's such a waste of time. All these extra steps are me leaning over like this. It adds up so much over the course of your day. And this is like only 10 feet wide. So I only have so much space to work with. So it forces me to at least stay small. But people are walking all over their houses to do eBay. You know, they have stuff in one area and the other area. But then like my favorite part is during my shipping, I don't take any steps. Customer service, I don't take any steps. And then shipping, let's see. Yeah, shipping, I guess I'm leaning from left to right, but I don't actually move my feet at all for the whole shipping process. But 36 seconds each for, I think eBay's got to have one of the fastest shipping ever. We actually edited it out, but this is where my worker asked me a whole bunch of questions. And, but yeah, not moving your feet at all really helps a lot. I also had to change my lock combination after that video because it was in the video. Okay, yeah, make sure when you're filming yourself not to have your combination, your bank account visible. Cool. So timing yourself, huge. Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, I don't know if I've talked to you before. What's going on? What are you working on? Nice beard. Hopefully you can chat.
There we go. Had to unmute. Not good at Zoom.
What are you working on, and what has saved you time, or what do you want to save time on?
What I would like to save time on is just sourcing. I live in a little small town out in the middle of nowhere, and unfortunately, unless I drive to the thrift stores a lot faster than the legal limit, I'm not going to save a whole lot of time, because they're all the good ones are an hour and 15 minutes in every direction. So, then when I get there, I need to turn the squirrel brain off, like you like to say, and just focus on what I need to do. What I'm searching for,
Interesting.
rather than shiny object syndrome.
So I have a question for everyone in the group. Let's say that you're Andrew and you have to drive an hour and 15 minutes to a thrift store. Will he be less squirrel brained than me because I can drive 5 minutes to a thrift store? And there's so many thrift stores here, so many flea markets here. If I lived where Andrew lives, maybe I would be less squirrel brained, because I'm committing 3 hours round trip driving, right? Do I really want to drive there and just sell random things versus like most of your day is driving? Maybe you have to be an expert. Mike says he has 1.5 hours each way. Man, that's brutal. But a lot of people in the group drive that much.
That's true.
James says you'll be more focused. Do you feel like you're getting more focused being in this group?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've only been in it for a couple of weeks, but yeah, definitely more focused and on the ball to what I want to sell. And I'm going to dive back into clothes again too. I'm going to come over to the dark side.
Okay. Welcome to the dark side.
Well, I've dabbled in it before, but I've never really focused hard and just gone in just on clothes, mostly men's clothes.
Yep. Men's clothes is a great category.
In my experience, men are buyers more so than shoppers. You get a lot less.
Hey, interesting. Buyers more than shoppers. I've never heard that.
You seem to get, in my opinion, at least, I seem to get way fewer returns on men's clothes than women's clothes.
I think 70% of the household income is spent generally by the woman. But they do like a lot more of the shopping. They're shopping a lot more. So and buying fewer things versus guys. They do buy things, but they spend less time shopping. That's interesting. So
I think they know more about what they want, like.
In all fairness, I get returns on my men's clothes a lot, even with measurements in the listing. I just got a return on the 2XL vintage polo Hawaiian shirt. So men return things as well.
They do. No, we're not.
Didn't say they didn't do it at all.
Yeah, they do it. It's that is interesting, because if you just look at the sell-through rate on eBay, right, it's much higher for men's clothing than women's clothing. That being said, I think 100 times more women's clothing sells than men's.
Well, I would agree with you.
It's interesting, right? Like a smaller percentage of what's listed sells. But that's an interesting thought. That category. So have you been exploring some of the deep dives that are in the group, like to help people with specific categories to know what they're looking for?
Yeah, going back and checking out a lot of text calls, a lot of your calls.
Yeah.
And also, I sell on Amazon too. I'm more of a media seller on Amazon. I've dabbled in retail arbitrage and toys and groceries and things like that. And those categories have all imploded on me on Amazon for various reasons. But media seems to be a good niche. So at least for me, for reselling on Amazon for what I like to do, and my tolerance for Amazon chicanery and fraudulent returns and things like that. Media's a pretty easy category, and I worked in radio and television for 25 years, so I'm pretty knowledgeable of TV, film, music.
Excellent.
That kind of thing.
Yeah,
but media just doesn't seem to do quite as well for me on eBay as does Amazon. There's just a lot, the profit margin is just better on Amazon and for most things, and the sales velocity is a lot quicker too.
I wonder if media, because a lot of our media call is a big call each week, and I feel like that category is so all over the place. Like,
well, yeah, it is, because you're dealing with books and
Yeah.
LPs and CDs and
Yep.
DVDs and Blu-ray and cassettes and whatever else.
Right.
So it's pretty broad. I mean, there are collectors on eBay. Like, eBay's a lot better for me personally for LPs and vinyl than Amazon is, because I feel like, you know, the LP collector is looking for, you know, this one particular album, this one release. And yeah, there's Disco G's, but that sites can be a little hard to navigate. It seems kind of outdated. It reminds me of like 2000s internet era. When you go to their webpage, and eBay's search is so much better. And, you know, and you can get, you know, if you're buying an LP from someone, you go look their feedback, and you want to see the stuff's packed well, and that it didn't, you know, if you're buying a LP that's been out of print for 50 years, it's not like you can go to Walmart and buy your customer a new one, or it's not like you can go buy yourself a new one from Walmart. So, you know, on eBay, probably more so than other platforms, I think, at least the feedback, you know, that's my favorite feedback is on eBay is packed well. Packed well, got here fast. That's my absolute favorite feedback on eBay, especially with LPs, because again, you might be selling something that hasn't been around for 50, 60 years. So you really want to get that stuff to the customer in good shape and make sure the customer's happy, and that, you know, how you graded the LP matches their experience. I always downgrade a little bit. But LPs are fun, mostly because I worked in music and radio for so long. But you know, you got to listen to them, and you know, so that's 45 minutes or so, half hour, 45 minutes per LP for both sides to listen to them, so you can actually give customers a good review. You know, if track number 4 pops and scratches when the needle hits it, and you didn't listen to it beforehand, but the customer did, you're going to get bad feedback, or an INAD return, or whatever. So LPs is more, it's more of a, at least with my business model, it's more of a sniper rifle, where I find, you know, come across something really cool that I know will sell well. You know, a lot of 60s and 70s progressive rock, punk rock, heavy metal, that sort of thing. But that's more of a, it's not my core model. That's more, hey, I'm at a garage sale and they had a stack of LPs, and I rifled through it and found 5 good ones. You know, found 5 Pink Floyd records or whatever. So,
go ahead.
But I'm kind of in the process of pivoting my model more over to clothing on the eBay side, and then media, especially Amazon fulfilled media on the Amazon side.
Andrew, you know what's interesting? What you just said gave me a bunch of ideas for myself, because unlike a lot of the calls we do, sometimes you actually want to do a good job. This sounds crazy, but like,
I think everybody does, don't they?
No, but actually listening to the LP, so you can give your customer a good review. Like, hey, I actually listened to this and I found out X. Or if you're selling clothing and you're like, I actually looked at the piece of clothing, and on the right corner there is this thing that you should be aware of. On this LP, there's this that you should be aware of. And you said you want the item to be packed well and shipped fast. I was just thinking to myself yesterday at work, I was asking my workers, I want to ship same day every day. How do we do that? Can it be so the customer can be like, wow, this was shipped way faster, like as fast as it could go. But I have never thought about having it be well packed, because that wasn't a value to me. I never had the idea, like a customer, I want them to open and be like, wow, this was well packed. That's a good experience as a customer, to open it up. And like, as an example, I've bought stuff from tech before that's expensive. And when I get it, it has a plastic bag around it. And I'm like, I really appreciate that, because I could have accidentally cut this expensive item if there wasn't a piece of plastic around it. So go ahead.
I have I actually print these with my, I don't know if it'll focus. Oh, it's backwards. With my Amazon FBA label maker, I print little labels that say, do not open with sharp object for things like clothes and, breakable things, LPs, stuff you don't want someone hacking into with a box cutter and cutting it in half. And those are just little stickers. I print them up like 100 at a time, and there's a stack here, and I just stick them on my poly mailer or whatever and send it out. Oh, I muted myself somehow.
No, you're good. That was me. No, I just thank you for sharing that, because it's such a good customer experience to read somebody's feedback and it shows they did a good job packing and they ship quickly. You get it. That sticker is on it. Now we just need to get you supply, because it sounds like you really care about the customer.
Well, I mean, you got to provide them a good buying experience. Look who we're competing with. We're competing with Nordstrom. We're competing with Amazon and Macy's and Target and REI and all of these huge brands that sell clothing and things online.
But why do you have that awareness? Because I think about that all the time. I'm like, we're competing against Amazon, eBay. We're competing against gigantic box stores with thousands of employees. It's supposed to be hard. We're here like we're trying to compete against REI. Every single item they have is brand new with a lifetime warranty.
Right.
Yeah.
How did I come across that? Just, I guess, astute observation of the human condition. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's work. Maybe it's my past life in radio and TV where you don't necessarily get a whole lot of good feedback, especially from your bosses. So you have to constantly work on improving yourself and hire a talent coach and hire a voice coach and hire those kind of people on your side to help keep you focused and keep, you improving yourself as a radio person or a voiceover person. Unfortunately, so many people have bad stories about buying something on eBay.
Definitely.
Or I mean, I sell stuff on Amazon, and Amazon sends me stuff broken all the time. They send me my own stuff back. They send me my own stuff back broken all the time. And I mean that just sucks. It's a bad customer experience, and it doesn't take a whole lot longer to pack something up nicely. I mean, I'm getting back into it, and I've gotten some clear poly bags, but when I've sold clothes before, that was my filing system. Was I'd take the photo, fold it up, put it in a poly bag, stick a number on it, and file it away in numerical order, and especially especially during COVID, when people got really paranoid about cleanliness, and rightly so. I wanted my items to at least look, seem at least clean and presentable and, sterile. And also, when you fold clothes away and put them in a poly bag, number one, they're already in the perfect shape to stuff in a poly mailer. But two, then they don't get dusty in storage. They don't, they're as clean as they were when you put them in that poly bag, and the customer gets them that way. And I feel like that was a good experience. And poly bags are cheap. And in my opinion, putting things in poly bags first made them, the perfect packable 8x10 more or less shape to stick in your poly mailer and stick your "Don't open with sharp object" sticker on it and your label, and send it on its way. Fast, fast, fast.
I love it. Thank you, Andrew. That's really
good.
No
problem. Glad to be part of the group.
You inspired me to be a better customer service. So a couple of questions popped up in the chat. One is from Blaine asking about the best packaging for graded cards. Maybe I can ask Frank on how he ships graded cards. But for me personally, as a buyer of graded cards, I want the least packaging possible, and it's to safely arrive. So I think if it was for me, just randomly, 2 pieces of cardboard and the tape on both ends for a graded card is nice. But like if I have to open up a box and inside the box is another thing and inside of that thing is another thing and inside that thing is another thing, it's like kind of annoying to open and it's like it seems wasteful to me. So I would love for minimal packaging but safe. There's a lot of people in the group that have that sell cards, and we also have a new card call. But Frank, you spend thousands of dollars a month on packaging. How do you ship things?
I like to keep the least amount of shipping supplies and the quickest shipping. So if it's a cheap slab, you just, put it in every slab should go in a PSA sleeve. So it protects the plastic from scratching and stuff regardless. That's probably how you should store it anyway before it even ships, even if you're selling multiple slabs. And then, if it's, let's say 50 or under, you could just throw it right into a bubble mailer. It should be fine. If it's more expensive, I use, personally, there's a lot of different things you can use, but I use these for multiple purposes. So I like the 644 boxes. They're very cheap. They're like 20 cents each, 25 cents each, or less, depending on where you get them. And they're, you can use them for a lot of stuff. So the 644 box, and it's just a little bit of packing material. I use the thick craft paper for pretty much everything. I don't want to have different packing paper and different things that, we do a lot of video games and stuff like that. So small piece of craft paper in a box. But again, that might not be the optimal way. But now I only have like, a few different, one type of packing material and everything. I like to streamline everything. So but yeah, that's how I ship it. But
Frank, is there anything that you can share that has saved you time?
Well, yeah, just I was saying, less packing materials. So, we have our craft paper on a roll, so it's easier. I used to have the sheets; they were annoying to get apart. So I guarantee you, if you looked at like tape, for instance, there's 1,000 different ways you could tape a box, and I guarantee you, there's a quicker way out there. Depending on how much tape you use and, like for instance, the water tape is cheaper and easier, and you can brand it too, which is cool. But, the machine, it takes a little bit of getting used to and stuff. So, and it depends on how many boxes you use, but shipping is just one thing where even picking, right? The way you set up your inventory system, if you tweak it a little bit, you could pick twice as fast. You might not think 10 or 15 seconds matters, but when you're picking thousands and thousands of things, like for instance, me, I actually have to switch away from Ziploc bags. We use Ziploc bags for every video game we sell and whatnot. The problem is the Ziploc bags, they come closed. So when we have, every time we put a video game in it, we have to open the Ziploc bag and then put the game in. We don't close the Ziploc bag because it just takes too much time and they won't fall out anyway. But I'm like, wow, is there a way I could not, because sometimes some streams we do 1,000 sales. We got to open 1,000 Ziploc bags. So I'm like, is there a bag where the game won't fall out of that I do not have to open? So these are like little things I think about. I've already gone through all the major ones. Like if you're taking 5 minutes to list something and you go from 5 minutes to 1 minute, that'll transform your business. So whatever you could do to get listing faster and sourcing better stuff, that's number one. But past that, all these little things, they do add up. They add up a lot, especially when you have employees. So,
thank you, Frank. Yeah, the last month, the flavor of the month was $20 profit per item. This month, the flavor of the month is how to do photos in 30 seconds. And this is the part that's interesting to me. The people who say, I just can't see how you can do photos in 30 seconds. Why can't you see? The actual holding down the camera to take a photo takes 1 second, right? So if 12 photos is 12 seconds for the photo part, you can't see how someone could stage an item in 18 seconds or less. Like at least like say there's people who can do it and I can't do it. I don't know. It's just so frustrating to me to see that people can't see how it's done. I can't do it in 30 seconds. It doesn't mean it can't be done. I'm not frustrated by that. I can look at that, someone else doing it, and then look at how I do it and be like, wow, I'm doing a minute extra of stuff. I don't see how people can't see. Like you should know why your sales are slow. You should know why your process takes a minute and a half and somebody else can do it in 23 seconds. At least you know how someone can do it. It's just interesting to me looking at that because like there's people who can run a marathon in 2 hours and there's people who can't do it in a whole day. I know how, That guy has been training for 20 years. I don't know. It's so weird to me when people don't even try. At least try to figure it out. Beth and then Frank again.
No, and that's the most eye-opening thing was recording it, because I don't have any sense of time. So
Right.
I did something yesterday in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I was like,
Right.
wow, I did that fast. That seems so slow.
Yep.
So it was like, if I did it that slow, imagine how much faster I can do it tomorrow. So that I have no sense of how many seconds things take, none whatsoever.
This lady came, I'm not going to reveal her, but she's definitely over 50 years old. She came and we did the photo process last Friday. The first time she tried it, it took 6 minutes. Half an hour later, it only took 1:28. This is somebody who like a beginner in reselling, more or less. And in half an hour, they improved from 6 minutes to 1:28 in half an hour of just filming it and then showing it to her. And she's like, oh, wow, I'm doing all these things that I'm not supposed to be doing. And then I was like, do you know how it could be faster? And she was like, oh yeah, there's like all these things I could do to make it faster. So it's interesting that people are like, there's not one thing I can do to make my process better. You guys are all liars. I just don't, what kind of attitude is that? I don't know what, go ahead, Andrew.
Well, people, in my observations, people really don't want to be wrong, and they don't want their way that they've figured out to be wrong. And I mean, not just in reselling, just in, seems like in life in general, you know, and reselling is just a small example of it. But, you know, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay. No one's going to judge you. Okay, so you took you're slow about your eBay pictures.
Yeah.
Or the way you thought was the most efficient way, turns out isn't. You know, I never would have thought that laying a shirt on a strip of carpet on the floor would have been the fastest way to do it.
Right.
You know, I thought putting it up on a hanger and leaning it up against the wall with all the lights and everything, and you know, it's just eBay. No, your fourth grade, your mean fourth grade teacher isn't grading you on it. Your judgmental grandmother and grandfather aren't going to yell at you about it. If people find another way and they say it works better, at least try it.
At least try it. Yeah,
at least try it. No one's going to be mad at you. No one's going to make fun of you because your old way was the wrong way. You know how many different ways I've taken photos of things in my, you know, decade on eBay.
I know.
So many different ways.
So many different ways.
And,
all the ways.
All the different ways I've shipped stuff, and all the different ways I've packed stuff, and they're not. It's okay to be doing it wrong. If there's, you know, and it's okay to pivot. No one's going to call you a loser because you now do flat lay instead of hanging your stuff from a hanger on the wall. No one's going to do that. Unless there's someone in your eBay room judging you, which would be a horrible way to do eBay. It's okay. It's okay to try something new, and it's okay if your way is wrong. It's just eBay. It's not brain surgery. It's hard work, but it's not life or death either, you know?
I love it. I think if you look at it as it's just eBay. So
well, it's important, but I mean, it's still important for your money and everything. I'm not saying, oh, well, it's just eBay, just blow it off. But there's way bigger mistakes that you make in life. You know, you make a really big mistake, you end up in jail. That's a huge mistake.
That's true.
You know, you take pictures wrong on eBay, it just took you too long. That's not really the end of the world.
No.
You're only just making your day longer, you know? So yeah, just try it. I mean, yeah, I never would have thought that the lay your stuff on the floor thing was the better way to take pictures until I tried it. And what do you know, it is.
Frank?
It's funny because if you source good stuff, it'll fix and overcome almost every shortcoming that you have.
That's right.
You know, alternatively, if you can list as fast as tech, you can even have a slower sell-through items and decent items or even lower profit items, and you'll still do amazing. I think anybody here would be okay making half as much as tech, right? So if you just listed just as fast as tech and listed now, you can still get great an item a minute, right? So, you know, listing really, really fast or sourcing really great items will overcome a lot of stuff. If you put those together, you'll be unstoppable, you know, but I feel like a lot of people, they focus on, oh, my item is ranked 10 now instead of 2. What did I do wrong? And yet they're taking 15 minutes to list an item. Like, the focus needs to be on sourcing great stuff, being in a good market, and, you know, being an expert, and then also listing fast. Those two things will overcome almost everything else. You can go on vacation, you can have a couple bad buys, you can go into a new category, you know, whatever, you know, just buy good stuff and list fast and list like really clean. And that just, it's very simple. You know, it's just a simple. Am I wrong in saying any of that? I think that's like, that, at least that's what you guys preach. And if I'm wrong, like, 'cause that's all I focus on now. And it's been extremely helpful.
Well, this is what I'm thinking, Frank, based on what you just said. Get the best stuff. Give the best deal you can. Give the best experience you can. Make the best listing you can. Have the best customer service you can. There's no way to lose, but this is what people do. They get average stuff. It's not a very good deal. Bad customer service, bad listing. Yo, what is that going to produce? Not a good item is not a good deal, not a good experience, bad listing, slow customer service, slow shipping. No one's going to buy stuff from you. How can you have the best stuff at the best deal, best listing, free returns, and people, you're not like so busy you need to hire someone to help you with shipping? That's too much. Like, people will be waiting in line to buy stuff from you. Best stuff, best deal, best experience, best customer service. This guy, this gal has the best everything. It's always the best deal. And if there's something wrong with it, they take it back. I mean, that's killer. Jen, good morning.
Good morning. I was just listening to what you were saying, and I kept thinking about myself, and when I struggle against changing a process that took me forever to put into place in the first place. I think it's the mental sheer exhaustion of having to start all over again that prevents me from changing. I know that sounds crazy, even though I know it would be easier, but I feel like I'm reinventing everything every day. Even now, after I've been doing this for how many years? A couple of years now. It still feels, it's an exhausting process. So I'm like trying to find a way to push myself over those hurdles when I run up against them. Maybe I'm the only one that runs up against them like this, but I just find it very hard to change a process once I've got one in place, just mentally.
Thank you, Jen. Just a reminder that Jen and Juanita are doing a Shut Up and List session on Friday for 6 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you guys are welcome to join a 24-hour room and set accountability partners. And that would be a fantastic use of your time. Let's say that I go to that session every single Friday and knock out my listings for the week. That would be a fantastic way to approach your business. Have these set times where you go in and knock things out. And it can be intimidating or depressing to have to start over. But I heard this saying that was like, some people are like, everything that's good in their life is because of them, and everything that's bad in their life is because of the government. That's how I feel about people on eBay. Everything that's good is because they found something amazing and they're great. And if it's bad, it's eBay's fault. That's like the worst possible way to look at it. Why can't you just look at it as it's just eBay? Like Andrew said, they want good stuff. Customers want good stuff. Give a good experience. Give a good deal. What's wrong with giving people a good deal on good stuff? That is fine. People are like looking at my whatnot and they're like, oh, this guy, all the people are in this stream. And I'm like, I want everybody in my stream. I want the best stuff at the best price, best experience. I want to ship today. You come to my stream, there's the best stuff at the best deal, and we ship today. But now I need to add what Andrew said, and needs to come amazing. Thank you card, taped well. They open the box and rays of sunshine come out of it. And with a coupon to come back and do it again. That's like, you know, CD Baby, this company that I followed from Derek Sivers. He had this like long, elaborate story of like, when you buy an item from us, you know, like angels go through our warehouse and pack it with gold, and we hand deliver it to whatever. And it was like this beautiful long story that was just made up for fun, but it made his company go viral because so people don't care when they ship things. And he's like taking all this extra time. And he didn't really take extra time. He was just saying everything comes packed well and safely, but made this story up so it was more fun and people loved it. So just makes me think most people out there have average stuff, average deal, average customer service, average listing. That just equals a 2,000 item store with one sale a day, right? Versus a 2,000 item store with 20 or 30 sales a day. All great stuff. One car garage, maybe a 2-car garage.
Didn't Tech say on the last podcast that we're competing with, what was the numbers, the percentage? 10% of
10% of people get 90% of the sales.
Yeah.
I think that's true. And guys, you can choose. Do you want to be in the 10% of people who get 90% of the sales, or do you want to complain that it's the government or eBay's fault? I just can't. I can't accept that. If you're in the 90% of people and you want to stay in the 90% of people, don't listen to this channel because it's going to be frustrating. I'm going to push you guys into the top 10%. I don't want you in the bottom 90%. The bottom 90%, I'm just going to paint this picture for you guys. Wake up, have no idea what's going to happen all day. Go out, let's see what happens. Come home, struggle to get your listings done. No personal life. Mental health is in the toilet. Relationships are in the toilet. Physical health's in the toilet. Bank account's empty. That's 90% of people. Or you got to wake up, get after it, have a schedule, know what you're going to do all day, do your best until you know better, and then do better. That person makes 10 times more money than the other person, and they have the same 24 hours a day. And the people who you feel like are slamming you in the comments, I feel like those people are trying to send a message to you. Like, why do you have to feel like you know everything? They're trying to take you down a notch. I don't mind that. People take shots at me all the time, and there's a little bit of truth somewhere in there. So I don't mind, because it's just part of the game. I don't want to know everything. I already told you guys, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. So let's try to focus on what you can do to make your eBay business a lot better. That's the whole point of this group, to save you time. Somebody told me to change my message from Make Progress Daily, which sounds intimidating, to something like reducing the struggle bus or something, so people can relate to it more. Because people don't want to make progress daily. But if I say I can reduce the struggle bus for you, this is the last stop for you. You can now get off the struggle bus. People might resonate with that more because they don't want the struggle. Okay. All right. Going to the beginning.
No, keep it, make progress daily. Keep it that way.
Okay, fine. Make progress daily. Okay, we'll keep it to make progress daily.
On my wall, right in front of me.
Well, that was actually designed from The One Thing by Gary Keller. He said that his book, when people look at it and it says it's called The One Thing, you look at the book and you're like, oh, okay, I got to focus on the one thing that will make everything else not necessary. What's the most important thing I can work on? I wanted people to look at that sticker and be like, okay, it's time to make progress today on something. But I think the struggle bus thing does relate to more people. More people don't want to struggle. Jake?
Chris, you could go even more extreme. You could call it less of a victim daily.
No, that would get me canceled. I can't say that. But yeah, I get you. All right, guys, we're going to the beginner call with Isaiah. I appreciate everybody.